Thousands of people use the Schengen shuffle to spend months in Italy without triggering tax residency. Stay 90 days, leave, come back, repeat. It sounds perfect, but it's very easy to get it wrong. And it is very easy not to realize you're getting it wrong until you get a letter from the Agenzia delle Entrate with a bill you weren't expecting. Today, I'm breaking down how the strategy actually works, the 3 common mistakes that trigger that bill, and why 2026 makes getting this right even more urgent than ever. So let's start with the basics. As an American or a British, Canadian, Australian, really any non-EU citizen, you can enter Italy without a visa. And you can stay for up to 90 days. But there is some very important information to know here. That's not 90 days in Italy alone. That's 90 days inside the entire Schengen area. The Schengen area is a group of 29 European countries that all share the same border rule. So it's not 90 days per country, it's 90 days total across all of them combined. That means you could spend 60 days in Italy, then 20 days in France, then 10 days in Spain. Add that up, that's 90 days, your time is gone, even though you were never in one country for very long. Now here's where many people get this strategy wrong. It's not stay 90 days, leave, wait a bit, come back, get another fresh 90 days. It's not how it works. The 90 days are tracked using something called a rolling 180-day window. Here's what that means. In plain terms, every single day, the system looks backward exactly 180 days from today, and it counts how many of those days you spent inside the Schengen area. If that number is 90 or more, you cannot enter. So leaving doesn't reset your count, it only pauses it. Let's use a simple example. Say you arrive in Italy on January 1st. You stay the full 90 days, you leave on March 31st. You might think, great, now I'll just come back in a few weeks. But you can't. Not yet. Your 90 days won't become available again until enough time has passed that your January stay falls completely outside that 180-day window. In this example, that's roughly the end of June. And even then, you don't get all 90 days back at once. You get them back slowly. One day comes back to you for every old day that ages out of the window. This is a part almost nobody explains clearly, and it's exactly where people get the strategy wrong. Now, if you do manage your days correctly, and you never cross 183 days inside Italy in a single calendar year, Italian tax law generally does not consider you a tax resident, which means Italy only taxes you on your income that comes from inside Italy, and not your pension, not your social security, not your investment income back home, not your rental income in the US. For people who genuinely want to spend long stretches of time in Italy without making it their permanent full-time home, this can be a real, legal, and very attractive option. But only if you track your days correctly, and as we just saw, that's harder than most people think. The key word here is genuinely, and we'll come back to that. Before we get into the mistakes, if you're in the early stages of planning a move to Italy and you want a complete guide that walks you through every decision from choosing a location to understanding your tax situation, I put together the Italy Relocation Blueprint. It's a step-by-step guide specifically for Americans and English speakers planning this move. Link is in the description or follow the QR code. It's the most complete source I've put together outside this channel. Now, the 3 mistakes. The first mistake is the most obvious one, and people still make it. They cross 183 days in Italy in a calendar year. Now that sounds hard to do accidentally, but think about this. You arrive in January, you spend 90 days until late March. You leave, go back to the US for a few weeks, come back in May for another 90 days. That's 180 days. You're right on the edge. Add a few extra days here and there, arriving a day early, leaving a day late, and suddenly you've crossed the line. And when you cross 183 days, Italian tax law doesn't care that you never registered anywhere. It doesn't care that you never got a codice fiscale. It considers you a tax resident based on physical presence alone. That means worldwide income, that means an Italian tax return, that means potential penalties for years you didn't file one. Track your days, every entry, every exit. A simple note on your phone is enough, but you have to actually do it every single time. Mistake 2, habitual residence. This is the one that surprises people, and it's the one that gets the most people into trouble. The 183-day rule is not the only way Italy can claim you as a tax resident. Italian tax law also looks at something called habitual residence, the place you consider home, the place you intend to return to. And here's how this plays out on practice. You rent the same apartment in Sicily every year. You have an Italian bank account. Your doctor is in Italy. Most of your friends are in Italy. Your social life, your routines, your daily existence, it's all in Italy. You technically leave every 90 days. You technically stay under 183 days. But the Agenzia delle Entrate looks at the substance of your life, where you actually live, where your center of gravity is. They can make a case that Italy is your habitual residence. And if they make that case successfully, the day count doesn't matter. The 90-day strategy is not a magic wall. You can't just count days and ignore everything else. The substance of your life needs to genuinely be somewhere else. Mistake 3, ESS and 2026. Now, here's what's changing in 2026 and why this year specifically matters. For years, the Schengen 90-day rule was enforced through passport stamps. Manual, easy to lose track of, not systematically monitors across borders. A lot of people relied on that informality, not necessarily to break the rules, just because the tracking was loose enough that small mistakes went unnoticed. That area is ending. The entry-exit system, ESS, is rolling out across the entire Schengen area. It digitally registers every entry and every exit of every non-EU national, automatically in real time. Every time you cross a Schengen border, by plane, by train, by car, it's recorded. Your running day count is visible to border officers, and tax authorities have access to this data. The informal ambiguity that some people relied on, it's gone. If you're using the Schengen Shuffle, your counting needs to be exact. Not approximate, not estimated, exact. Let me be direct about something. The 90-day strategy works beautifully for people who genuinely split their lives between Italy and somewhere else. You love Italy, you spend meaningful time there, maybe 2 or 3 months a year, maybe in different seasons, but you have a real life somewhere else, a home you return to, ties that are genuinely somewhere. For those people, the strategy is clean, legal, and completely sustainable. It works less well for people who essentially want to live in Italy full-time, but do exit trips to avoid the tax residency question. If Italy is really where your life is, the smart move is to do it properly. Get the ERV, register legally, choose the right tax regime for your start, and if you live in the right part of southern Italy, you might be paying just 7% flat tax on all your foreign income anyway. We've covered both of those in detail in previous videos. I'll link them in the description. If you want to contact a US-Italy tax specialist, email me directly and I will contact you with the company I work with personally in Italy. So the Schengen Shuffle is real, it's legal, and for the right person, it's genuinely a good strategy. But it requires honesty about where your life actually is. It requires precise day tracking. And in 2026, the ESS coming into force, it requires getting the details right. If you're still figuring out which path makes more sense for your situation, the free Italy relocation roadmap in the description is a great place to start. It walks you through the key decisions before you make any expensive commitments. And if you found this useful, share it with someone who's thinking about the same questions. It might just save them a letter from the Agencia delle Entrate. Next one you want to watch is this one here.